A couple weeks ago, they actually started filming season 2 of the Charmed Reboot. So I started scouring the internet and I really wanted to find out what are we in store for. And I have a few ideas. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Turnout. I'm your host, Aloy. Follow us on Twitter at TheTurnoutUSAA. That's where you can talk to me directly. First off, I just want to thank everybody who's coming and watching all of these quirky videos that we're doing here on the channel. The month of July was triple the number of views that we got the previous 2 months. And honestly, it blows my mind to just think that we really have only been here for 3 months and we have already grown so much and having so many great conversations here on the channel with all of you in the comments. I love it. And if you are liking what the Turnout is putting out, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification thingy so that you always know when we release a new video. So, the very first thing that I wanted to check out was who's coming back. Obviously, we needed to find out if everybody was back on board from season 1, and that's going to be the easiest way for us to tell what season 2 is kind of going to be like. So yeah, definitely the cast is all coming back, the main cast at least. All 3 sisters are coming back. So that includes Madeline Mantok, who plays Macy, Melanie Diaz, who plays Mel, funny enough, and Sarah Jeffrey, who plays Maggie, as well as Rupert Evans, who plays Harry. The new bad guy is actually going to be Alistair Crane's daughter, who the articles that I've been reading don't have her with a name yet, but she is going to be the new big bad, so this isn't the last that we've seen of the Crane family. There's also apparently 2 new characters, a sexy boxing instructor called Jordan, and a sexually fluid witch named Kat, so that's 2 more characters that we're going to be getting. I'm interested to see what they do with those. Even though there hasn't been a change in the cast, there has been a change in the showrunners. Before we had Carter Covington, and now we have Liz Kruger and Craig Shapiro. So Shapiro and Kruger are currently under an overall deal with CBS Television Studios, who produces Charmed. The team previously co-created Salvation. They were executive producers and showrunners on Extant, which had Halle Berry on it. In addition to that, they co-created Necessary Roughness and ran the writer's room for Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. So they have actually worked on quite a few things. And while it could be very easy for them to simply follow in the footsteps of the original Charmed series, I feel like, having watched now the entire first season, they really set themselves up to go in kind of a different direction than the previous show did. Kind of making it its own thing, finally. Because so far, it does feel a little bit of a rehashed version of the original, with some tweaks, which again, I enjoyed the tweaks myself, but I think that this is the opportunity for them to really kind of take it in a new direction and make it their own. What I've also read too is that the second season is going to focus more on the supernatural adventures that they go on, as opposed to focusing too much on the family dynamic between the sisters. So that part is a little worrisome because the relationship of the sisters is a big selling point. And I thought that they did that very well in the first season, but I don't think that they did it well enough that they can just forget about it now. Hey, they're a family unit, they're 100% rock solid, never anything that's going to break them apart. I feel like still kind of delving into some of the family stuff would be really cool. Some stuff I'd love to see. I'd love to see more of Macy's background, because it really is very much Mel and Maggie's world, and Macy is now added to that, but I really want to see more of her background and her world, because you have to think, if she had to go live with another family, that means that she's got a whole other life over here on the side that we're not really paying any attention to. So that would be a major thing that I would say, that if they were going to explore more of the family side, that's a way that they can do it. The problem with that is that that really does put a major focus on Macy. And I love Madeline Mantok, and I feel like she could carry that weight. She's a great actress. I've seen her in a few other things just recently, but at the same time, that might take focus away from the other 2 sisters. Now, you do have Maggie, who would also want to look into that world and figure out where her sister is coming from. And the fact that her and Macy share a father could mean that they could maybe both start looking more into their father's background, possibly. So there's that sort of thing. Mel, on the other hand, really kind of seems like she's on the outs in terms of family. Like, she could basically help them look for their stuff, but I would be interested to see what else she's able to kind of explore. Now, obviously, her section of relationships and personal stuff is all going to be mostly focused on Nico, but I could definitely see more of that, maybe being introduced now to Nico's family and all these. So I do think that the theme of family does need to stay at the center of the show, so I'm really hoping that they don't change that too much. What I also noticed at the end was that they were setting themselves up really big for possibly a brand new take on the show. The Supernatural Adventures thing kind of ties into this because the council is gone at the end. So all the sages are gone, and all of the supernatural characters are now coming to the Charmed Ones, basically because they are the most powerful witches, but also kind of the only authority that's left because the council's gone. What I think this is going to end up doing is kind of pushing them into more of a Grimm type situation, a little bit more of a, like, we're the ones in charge, and now if there's a squabble between the fairies and the vampires, we have to come in and, like, pick a side and basically all that stuff. I think it could actually be a little bit more Dresden Files, a little bit more Grimm, where it could be about whose allegiances the Charmed Ones are attempting to have. Like, are you going to side with the vampires because they actually do serve a purpose, whereas the fairies kind of go kind of crazy? We saw the fairy episode, that was scary. But but also, maybe the fairies offer something else. So really, they could do a really fun thing with that and make it kind of a show about allegiances and stuff. Almost a little bit like Game of Thrones, where they're kind of the kings. And now everybody's kind of calling for favor, and they're trying to figure out if they can get over on the Charmed Ones. I think that could actually be a lot of fun. Like, I could write for this show really easily. This would be an amazing show to write for. So some last details before we're done here. The CW has ordered 13 episodes. It is expected that they will get the total of 22 eventually. However, that hasn't happened. So they ordered the additional episodes really quick, despite the backlash, despite all of the old fans kind of not liking it. But they renewed it, but they didn't renew it for a whole new season, just for half a season. So that is key here. It is going to depend highly on how this first half of the second season goes in the ratings as to whether, I guess, we'll get more after that. And I do want to point out that the new showrunners have said, hey, you know what? If we could get some of the original cast back to be in the show, we would be down for that. And I know that a lot of you who have been watching my videos are watching it out of spite and out of hate because you don't like the new series and you hate that someone likes it. But at the same time, it seems like these new showrunners are actually extending that olive branch and seeing if there's maybe some way to get the original cast on board. I haven't seen any official responses to this thing. I mean, and the showrunners just said it kind of in an interview, kind of offhand, so it might not have been like an official request to the old cast, but they did say that they would love to have Leo come back and a few of the others. Brian Krause has actually said that he would love to be on the new show, but it's probably not going to happen without Piper. And we all know how Holly Marie Combs is viewing the new show. She don't like it, but it's mostly a politics thing. And that's kind of the thing about it. It's like, honestly, if you take the show as a whole, like as a product, as the show it is, it's actually a really good show. And I think that it has a lot of promise to have an even better second season. If you take it for all of the politics and hurt feelings, then yeah, you might not like the show. But that's probably why I like it, because I wasn't embroiled in all of that nonsense, honestly. I feel bad that some of the original actors kind of got the boot and kind of feel like they were slighted. At the same time, I don't know if they're doing themselves or the Charmed legacy or anything any favors by bad-mouthing the new show. I'm not saying that they're hurting the old legacy or anything, but they're certainly not doing it any favors. But if you were one of those people who was hoping that they might get more involved, it's been put out there. It's been put into the universe, so we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll happen in the end. But those are some updates, and those are some of my predictions for season 2. I'm totally excited to see what they do with the show. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What predictions do you have? What updates maybe that I missed? Do you have any additional information? Maybe different interviews I haven't seen? Let me know about that as well. Otherwise, after you've hit like, subscribe, and the bell button, make sure to follow us over on Twitter. And I've been your host, Aloy. This has been The Turnout. Thanks for showing up.